What is up, my beautiful legit people? We are back with another awesome session. Right now, we're going to be diving into really one of my favorite topics. And I know I've probably said this a lot. It's just because I geek out on all this productivity stuff, which is why I love this Get More Stuff Done day so much. Because getting more stuff done feels so good. But this topic right here is truly one of my favorites. And I think because it's helped me so much in the course of my life and my career, and I just want to talk more about it and share it with other people and let it help you advance your life and career as well. And that topic today is staying organized in order to be more productive. So, in order to work efficiently, especially when you're trying to do a lot of things, whether that's growing a business, starting a side hustle, starting a second business, running a successful household, just trying to live life in 2021 can be crazy. But in order to get more stuff done, in order to be a high level achiever, it really helps if you're able to stay organized and work efficiently. Because there are so many things that you need to do in the course of a day. But if you can figure out and you can follow my productivity tips right here, you're going to be able to work that much smarter, that much more efficiently, and get more stuff done, which is obviously the point of what we're trying to accomplish here today, is to help you get more stuff done in your life. And, that's what we're here to talk about. So we're actually going to hop over to my iPad real quick because we are going to take some notes. We're going to try a little bit of a different format here, and we'll see if that's helpful for us to look at. So hopefully this will make sense. But let's start with grabbing our pen tool and get rid of this. So number one, and this is, I think, probably the most important of all these lessons, is focus on what's important. And you're like, hey, Jim, this seems really simple of an idea, but you'd be amazingly surprised how much people get this one wrong. And the reason is people don't really have a good understanding of what's actually important, right? We confuse ourselves and we try and tell ourselves what's actually important. Oh, it's important that I respond to this email. It's important that I do this, and it's important that I do that. But it's really not. We get so tied up in the things that we think are actually important and things that we think are going to help, right? We've got mail. That was a really ugly envelope, but you get the idea. We've got clients. Wow, that is an alien. We've got, let's see, what else is important in the course of our day? We need to drink water. That's a cup with some water in it. I should have worked on my drawing skills ahead of time. But more or less, we've got, let's see what else is going to be important that crops up in our day. Sleep. That was a good one. I'm proud of that. All right, so of these things, what do we think is most important? I don't know. Probably most of us don't drink enough water. We don't sleep enough because we prioritize dealing with clients and answering every email as the most important thing that we have to do. But here's the thing. If we don't prioritize these two things, we're not going to be here to work on this and that because we're not going to be performing at our optimal self. We're going to be so tired, so drained, we're not going to be able to do it. And guess what? There's even more important things you can do. You can forget about this stuff. You can forget about this stuff. You can bring in people to handle your email, to handle your project management. If you can focus on your skills, figure out what your skill sets are and write them down. Make a list. Sit there and figure out what are the 5 most important things that you can do better than anyone else in your team, and focus on only those 5. Once you're able to focus on only those 5 things, You can take everything that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on your list, and you bring those and you give those to people on Legit. You need to be focusing on this stuff. These items, someone else can do. And guess what? When you focus on these things right here, you're going to be able to get more stuff done because you're working in the important things. You're working on stuff that's important and you're skilled at. Everything else, other people can handle. You can leave the things that are not really important to other people. And let's jump into the next thing. Let me just clear our screen right here. In order to do that, we need to hop on number 2, which is Delegate Tasks. That one is crazy important. And if you don't do this, I don't know how you're going to get more stuff done because you need to do this. You need to be looking at the stuff that was on your 6 through 10 list that we just made and figuring out how to delegate all those things. Come up with processes. Work with people. Look at the things in a course of your day that are not ideal for you to be spending your time on. Here's one, and this is an honest one that has been incredible for me, is email. I get roughly 1,700 emails a day. That's ridiculous. But guess what? I've created rules. So now I have rules in my inbox that will process about 600 of those emails. Most of them are informational. They're important for me to read, but not right away. I need to know about them, but I need to know about them later. I don't need to have my time taken with that. Then I have Judith is her name. She's been instrumental to me in helping to get more stuff done by coming up with her own processes to help handle that stuff. So I've trained and I've delegated the task of keeping an eye on my inbox to someone else. I've gotten my inbox, let's try and draw a better envelope here. All right, a little bit better. To now, we're at the point where most of it, I answer probably 50 emails a day, personally. And guess what? I've been doing it for about a year and a half. And my business has grown. Nothing has fallen apart. Nothing has caught on fire. Everything has been great. Because I've been able to take this number and bring it down to here. And that's huge. Because think about how much time that is. I don't really feel like doing the math right now, but let's figure 1650. And even if each one took us 30 seconds, and real quick, that's 800-ish minutes. That's not even physically possible. You physically can't keep up with it. But because I'm able to delegate my tasks, I'm able to save 800 minutes from my day. 800 minutes. Ridiculous. Reading email. Think about that. Think about the things that go on in the course of your day that you can delegate and save time. You can find people on Legit, find people on your team. You can find people and train people to do things that you're doing in the course of your day that you do not need to be doing. And think about this, please. You are not irreplaceable. And I understand that might seem like a cold thing to say, but yes, you have skills. You are very qualified in the things that you do and your specialties. You're not the only person in the world who can do them. And you need to be real with yourself and understand that there are people out there who can do what you do and probably better. So take advantage of that fact and delegate tasks to other people. It's how you multiply your time. All right. Let's jump into our next one here. Hopefully this works and you can appreciate my drawing. But number 3, use calendars. It'll help if I spell that correctly. Use calendars, and you need to use them efficiently. Here's a couple of pro tips that I have for you in using calendars. Firstly, is be selfish with your time. because it's all your time. And you need to prioritize the time that you need for yourself. Here's an example. For me personally, I run my entire calendar through Calendly. Calendly works tremendously well for managing my meetings, my day-to-day schedule. And what I do is I'm very intentional with the amount of time that I have available for meetings. I do not take any meetings on Mondays. I do not generally take any meetings before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that leaves me the morning to concentrate on things that I need to do that are important to move my business forward. And then meetings, which generally will take up a good amount of time, and also will kind of scatter your brain a little bit because you have to think about all the different things that you're going to be required to talk about in your meetings. I leave those for the end of the day because once I'm done with the meetings, it's difficult for me to get back in the mindset of getting work done because my mind is now thinking about all the things that we just talked about in the meetings. So being intentional with your time and being intentional with the way that you organize the events that happen in the course of your day is going to allow you to get more stuff done because you're going to be more efficient when you're working. More. Thursdays, I have meetings at night. So I block off time in the afternoon from like 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock to spend time with my family. That's important to me. That allows me to be present during the day. So I take my meetings on Thursdays in the mornings. That allows me to focus on being efficient, getting work done, knowing that I'm 100% mentally at work when I'm working. And then I know from 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock, I'm not working. I'm spending time with my family. That also helps me to get more stuff done because I'm not working thinking, I really should be with my family. This is messed up. And when I'm with my family, I'm not thinking, I really have to go get back and go get work done. Because I know already, in my head, it's all scheduled out. I've dedicated time to work. I've dedicated time to family. And I've been able to split my schedule between work and family. And I know everyone talks about work-life balance. It's not a thing. It's harmony. You can't balance the two, right? You're not going to balance the two because one of them is always going to be heavier. And it's going to fall. That's not going to work. You need to integrate the two of them together in order to make it work. You need to constantly figure out ways to improve your calendar and set it up to work for you. Instead of just leaving it wide open and then you wake up the next day and you're just going to do whatever, set it up so that it's going to help you work more efficiently. And here's the next pro tip about your calendar. You need to review daily. Super important. Before you go to bed, you need to spend time and you need to look at what's on your calendar. Should be like the last thing you do before you go to sleep. Couple reasons. One is while you're sleeping, you're going to be thinking about, and this might sound crazy, but trust me on this one, subconsciously you're going to be thinking about the things that you have to do the next day, and it's going to help prepare you for what you need to be ready at in the morning. Next thing, instead of just waking up and being like in a daze, you know already what you need to prepare and what you need to do and what your tomorrow looks like. So that way you can wake up and you can execute. You know already what's going to happen. And don't wait until the end of the day to figure this out, because if you are running late on a deadline or you have a project coming up that you need to deliver or an important meeting that you might not be totally ready for, don't wait until you're right about to go to bed to remember that. You need to be looking at the schedule a couple times a day. Think about it in the morning. Look at your schedule for the week. Remind yourself of what you have coming up. Go over it a couple times. Be intentional about spending time looking at your calendar and thinking about all the things that are on there. Maybe this one is really important that you need to not mess up. All right. Think about it. You've got this meeting on Thursday. Super important. I don't want to mess it up. All right, be proactive. Go in your calendar, block off this time, block off that time. You don't want anyone scheduling a meeting right here because maybe that meeting runs long and it takes away from your time to prepare for this one. Now what? Now you're getting yourself in trouble because you didn't prepare. Think about the things that are super important. Plan ahead of time. Take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, here and there a couple times a day. Look at your calendar. Look a couple days into the future and see what those days are going to be like. And make sure you give yourself time and be selfish with your time. I understand it sounds weird for me to encourage you to be selfish. But if you are able to be selfish and do things like this, where you're going to block off this time because you don't want anything coming up and interrupting your meeting right here. What a mess of a drawing I have. This is going to allow you to execute really well during this meeting. But if not, it's going to look like this drawing and it's going to be a hot mess. This is what your business looks like. Just a mess because you didn't plan properly. You don't want that. So, that's what that tip looks like. Let's jump into the next one. All right. What number are we at here? 4, maybe? This one, super important. Take care of your phone. People are addicted to these damn things, and I get it. People touch their phone. The number is somewhere near 2,000 times a day. It's crazy. Don't let yourself fall victim to that. Think about the things that you need on your phone. Be conscious of notifications. This is a big one. My writing is terrible. Make sure that you're paying attention to your notifications that come up. And remove anything that does not serve you. If you get a notification that there's a new level available on Candy Crush, do you need to know that right away? No, that's not important. That's not going to improve the quality of your life. Go in there and turn it off. You need to be making sure that if there's any notification on your phone, whatever it is super important. Because that's going to be training your brain to pay attention to it. So we all have apps, right? You use your phone for Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and ordering food and all sorts of stuff. So I get it. You're a human. You're going to do stuff and you're going to get notifications on your phone. Text messages, emails, all sorts of stuff. Be intentional about setting your notifications. I cannot stress this point enough. Do this. Spend a half an hour, go through your notification settings, and turn off stuff that does not serve you. Look at every app and think about, is this critical for me to know right now? Because what's going to happen is you're in your zone, you're working, you're at your computer, you're getting stuff done, and your phone goes off. You're going to look, because you're curious what that sound was. Oh, you're going to pick up your phone and look at it. All right, I've got my phone. What is it? Oh, such and such happened on Facebook. Let me go check it out. Guess what? That's 10 minutes later and you've been scrolling cat videos on YouTube. Why? There's no reason. It took you out of your mental productivity space and it pulled you away because you got a notification about something that wasn't really important. Spending the time, schedule it. I don't care if you want to schedule it for this week. Schedule it for a Thursday morning. Schedule an hour for yourself to go through your settings and go through your notifications. Go into each one and figure out. Maybe we can even do it right now. Let's go into our settings. And let's go into notifications. And let's look. Let's look at all these apps. You've got all these apps, right? This is my iPad, and there's lots of kids' games on here, so don't judge me. My family uses this. But you go into this, and you're like, oh, do I need notifications for all this stuff? Do I need notifications for the Spider-Man app? No. Do I need notifications for this tie-dye game? No. Turn them off. Do I need notifications for this ultimate disc game? Nope. Turn them off. I don't need that notification. What's the point? It's as simple as that. That's all you need to do is spend a little bit of time and strategically plan your life so that you're not getting interrupted by stuff that does not matter to you. The more that you can focus on doing things like that, the more you're going to be able to incrementally improve your efficiency and get more stuff done. And I understand that it sounds silly. Maybe it is. But focusing on the details, the little things, those are going to be the make or break difference in your life when you're able to fine tune your efficiency. It might make the difference between you being a 5-figure or a 6-figure business this year because you got a notification from a stupid game on your phone and it broke your focus and it took you away from what you were doing and you didn't get it done. It's mind-boggling. But most people don't pay attention to this because they just don't think about it. So here's your reminder. Go through your notifications and turn them off. You don't need them. Save like 4 or 5, the really important ones. But for the most part, unnecessary. Alright. Let's jump into the next point here. And we're on number 5. I don't know why I didn't remove that too, but whatever. Alright. Number 5. This one, super, super important. Clutter. If your desk looks like someone took a bunch of papers and just poured them out all over your desk, you're not going to be successful. I'm sorry. I'll stand firm in that. You need to be organized in literally everything you do. And I understand that some people will say a messy desk is the sign of a productive mind, or there was a quote there. I don't know what it is, but it's not important. Being organized, having folders, having processes is going to help you work more efficiently. You want to come see my desk any day of the week. There's literally 0 papers on it. Everything that comes on my desk gets done and gets filed somewhere else because there is a process for everything. It has a process. When it comes onto the desk, it goes through the process and gets done, and then it goes into the garbage can. Into the garbage can. That's crumbled up paper going into the garbage can. That's what you have to do. You have to have a process for everything and get rid of clutter. Think about it. Is it something that you need to keep? Okay, scan it. Put it in a file. Get rid of it. That way when you need it, it's where it's supposed to be. If you just keep things all over the place, you've got, let's see. Let's do this again. You've got a bunch of important files. You've got a bunch of stuff on your desk. All right. Now you just leave it on your desk. And you need this one really important piece of paper. If you just leave this stuff piled up on your desk, you're going to have to go through all these papers to try and find it. But if instead you take them and you put them into a cabinet, and each one is orderly, how much quicker is it going to be for you to go over here and just look at this shelf and pick out the piece of paper you want, pick out the book you want, pick out the folder you want? It's going to be much faster. Instead of living in a world of clutter, you now have this nice, organized filing cabinet. Whether it's the downloads folder on your computer, your desktop, your inbox. Organize your stuff. Keep it organized and be intentional about keeping it organized. Remember earlier when we talked about my emails? How many emails I get in the course of a day? Do you know what I do with those emails? My inbox right now, well, I can't show it on here. My inbox has about 3 emails in it. Probably from the course of this conversation, this 25 minutes so far. I intentionally have a process to organize my inbox. Everything comes into my inbox, gets responded to, and it gets filed. People make fun of me for this because I spend a lot of time keeping an empty inbox. But that's the point of an inbox. It's supposed to be things coming in to your business, into your process. It's not just supposed to land here in this mess of stuff. It's supposed to come in to your inbox, and then it's supposed to get done, and then it goes up here into a folder. So if I ever need to go back and find it, I know exactly where it is. If you ask me to go find an email from 2 years ago from a certain person, I can find it for you in about 15 seconds. I know exactly where their email is. I know exactly where all their files are. It saves me time, and it saves me from losing stuff, which makes even more of a mess, because sometimes you need to go back for taxes, for clients, and go back and find old stuff, look at old conversations, and you can't because you have no idea where anything is. Having a process to keep track of all of your things, emails, files, physical papers, all that stuff, make a process and be organized with it. Super, super, super important. All right. We've got time for one more thing. So, my last tip for staying organized and getting stuff done is making lists. This one is super important, and I love lists. Most specifically, I love spreadsheets. Spreadsheets, for me, help to organize things. It's important to you to use lists for a couple of reasons. One is, like before, we were talking about structuring your number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 10. But if you make a list of all the things that you need to get accomplished today, and you put those in priority order, this is the most important. And down here is less important. And you focus on doing this one first. You're going to get yourself much further ahead in business, because if you leave the important stuff toward later in the list, you might not get to it. I understand that sounds like a simple process for people to really think about, but a lot of people leave the important stuff for later in the day because it's uncomfortable. But doing the important thing, number 1 on your list, is going to help make sure that your business, your life goes further faster. If you run out of time on these less important things, it's not as big a deal. There's not as big a penalty if you don't do the less important things. It's much more important that you do the important things first. So making a list to understand what's important and what's not is going to be helpful for that. Now, more. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you've got 10 things on your list for today. Even less important. This stuff, delegate it to someone else. You have to get these things. Woof. Let's try that again. Okay. Go on legit, find someone to do these items. You do not need to be wasting your time on things that are less important for your energy. You only have X amount of hours in the course of your day to be really productive, especially if you're going to try and have some type of work-life harmony where you're actually going to see your family and have a personal life. You need to take the things on your list that are down here, the lower items. They're still important for your business, but they're not the best use of your time. Your time should be spent on the things that are up here. 1 through 3. If you can get to 4 and 5, great. If not, they can go number 1 tomorrow. The stuff that's down here is still important for your business to do, but it's not necessarily important for you to do. And that's the key thing. You need to be paying attention to what's important for you to do and focus on that. The rest of it, give it to someone else. There's plenty of people on Legit who are qualified to do the work that you need done, and they're going to do it faster and cheaper than you can do it. So outsource those items that are less important and get them done. All right. That has been my quick rundown on staying organized. We could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but I want you to get ready for the next conversation we're going to have here shortly. So with that, let me know any questions you have. Again, I'm happy to talk about this in more in depth later, but we got to hop back into our next chat real quick. So